Good morning and welcome to another exciting edition of Day 4 with the man Frank Scalish. Day 4, number 225.
Five. Six or
I think it's
five?
5. I think it's 5.
I think it's 5.
Is it not 5?
I don't know.
Oh, no.
I do not know.
Well, you think the guy who runs the show would know that. It's either 5 or 6.
Hey, it has been so many, we can't keep track.
Title will be updated on whichever one it is.
Yeah, sweet.
But recorded show today. We do this every once in a while. I'm actually at my annual trip down in Mexico. We are on Bacharach Lake.
Probably slot
So
out of giants.
So this is a week in advance right now. But Josh, who runs the lodge on Bacharach, let's see if I can. Here it is right here. So he texted me the other day. And he said, "Hey man, make sure you bring some of your baits down here." He goes, I said, "Oh, you think we'll be able to catch him?" He said, "I sure think so. I'm seeing 20 to 30 double digits every day, but they're hard to get to commit. This morning I had a 10, a 9, and 3/8, but they're being really tricky. I'm hoping that maybe some of the stuff that you're bringing down will get them to commit." And I said, "Oh, they'll commit." And he said, "High possibility of 45 plus pound bags."
I'm starting to believe I live in the wrong part of the United States.
But you have you have benefits for.
Yeah, I do.
What are the benefits for Northern Ohio?
Well, you stay really healthy shoveling a lot of snow. No, there's benefits here because the fishery is really diverse.
Yeah.
I could musky fish, I could pike fish, trout fish,
bass fish,
steelhead,
crappie
bass,
fish,
crappie,
steelhead,
smallmouth, largemouth. You know what I mean? We don't have the spotted bass. We used to have a really good spotted bass population on the Ohio River, in the northern pools, but the smallmouth have literally taken over in the northern pools.
I feel like spotted bass kind of across the country. You could take all those blueback lakes, obviously Lake Lanier and Table Rock and things like that. But I think one of the best things, one of the coolest things, you say cool or bad or good or indifferent, but the way that spotted bass behave. We've done a lot of shows on pelagic, on bait chasers, on open waters. I think that forward-facing sonar has really allowed a lot more people to enjoy really good spotted bass fishing over the last 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with that wholeheartedly because, whoa, I'm dropping everything here. I'll agree with that wholeheartedly. Let's take Norman out of the equation because Norman's just a special place and I've been fishing there forever. One of the coolest places I ever spotted bass fish was the Coosa River.
Oh yeah, the Coosa spots.
Oh man!
Now they behave more like largemouth, don't they? Can't you catch those on like swim jigs and buzz baits on the water willow and that? And then you can also get out and catch them chasing bait now on scope. But that's a special brand of fish. I think they designated that in the past 5-6 years as a completely different species, kind of their own species, the Coosa River spots.
Yeah, they're like nothing I've ever seen. They're very long. There is a very long spotted bass, and the coolest thing was when I was down there, I was catching them cranking deep little ends and Norman middle ends on gravel bars and sandbars.
Yeah,
and it was special, man. It was special.
If you were to compare them to a dog breed, I would say that the Coosa spots are like a Doberman, like big barrel chested, but also sleek and aggressive.
Yeah.
And then the Table Rock spots are kind of like Frenchies or pugs. They're just
little.
Yeah, just little boom. Like that's like Ohio River spots. Like I remember you catch those. They're not lean, they're not long, but they're just like, you can catch 14 incher that weighs 2 pounds.
Yeah, they're just thick.
Yeah. Hey, and dude, then
I was catching 4 and 5 pound spots on Table Rock one time.
Jeffries has talked about that in the past. Mark Jeffries, who started Bass owned BTL, that there was a couple years there where magnum spots were coming out of Table Rock.
Money spots, dude. Like way before live scope was invented. I was out there. I had my 2D sonar, and this is the God's honest truth. And I got on a pattern on flooded timber.
Mm-hmm.
The timber grew up to about 18 feet from the surface, and I was literally fishing the treetops. Um, it was a lot of fun. I caught a lot of giant fish, all three species, to be honest with you, are using the wood. I was re-rigging because I said if I can get on top of the trees and not have the bass move away from me, I could vertical jig them with a spoon. So I was re-rigging and my boat had blown over the river channel, and I saw this blob just start to come onto my 2D sonar. So I grabbed my spoon, I jumped up on the front deck, I turned the boat around, I got back over top of the fish, dropped the spoon down there, pumped it a couple times. It ran the spoon down. I got it. Dude, it was a 5-pound spot suspending over the river channel.
Ooh.
Now, that was pre live scope by
You're
a lot
talking
of
about like
years.
that, a spoon like that, a
Yeah,
little slab spoon. That's a War Eagle 7/8
yeah,
ounce
100,
spoon,
100%.
literally just a hammered chunk of metal with a barrel
Yes,
swivel on the top and a number 4 treble hook on the bottom.
yes, and 100%. And so I could only imagine if we had live scope then.
Yeah, I've done it a bunch. It was interesting. I was just talking with someone who hadn't fished timber before, and I said, we'll catch them minnowing treetops. And he said, well, what's the boat going to be sitting in? I said, I don't know, 60 to 80. And
Yeah,
he's like, what? And
yeah,
I said, yeah. And I said, but these treetops, are coming up to within 15 foot below
mhm,
the surface, and they're sitting in the tops. And I said, well, let me see, how could I explain this? And I said, okay, picture you're like in a hot air balloon floating over the
a valley.
trees. I said, like the water, just like that's air, like you're literally fishing the tops of these trees in a valley. Like if
Yeah,
you were to take all the water out, you're just hovering over it and you're right above the top. So the depth really doesn't have anything to do with it as much as where the trees come up and kind of what the bait is around them. And I was like, man, I'd never even thought about that till I said it. And it's like, cool, you can kind of picture that then as you walk, as you drive, you're in a wooded area. There are a lot of trees and stuff
yeah,
around Oklahoma. Just picture next time you're driving,
that you're driving
through the
above it all.
forest, and you're like looking at it, and then you're looking like that's you on the bottom when you're fishing that deep timbers where your car is driving on the road, and look at the bases and then look at how much stuff
Is
is
above
there to
you.
get to the top of the trees and all that, especially in cold weather months when there's no thermocline, as you've done shows on
Yes.
before. Those fish will be top to bottom in a place like Table Rock. You catch them in 80 foot, you can catch them, 3
Yeah.
foot under the surface.
Yeah, it's really cool. You know, standing timber, here's the funny thing. Not all standing timber is created equally. We all know that. I like to look for the ones that are out on points that drop down. I use the structure to find the best trees. So where if I was going to if there were no trees in the lake, I'm going to look at the structural element and go, "Oh yeah, they're going to be on that inside swing of that long tapering point." And then you drive your boat over there, and if those trees come up to anywhere from 20 to 15 feet below the surface, those are the money trees. It's really you could really pattern that. I mean, that's like a whole separate pattern
Yeah.
unto itself.
So is tree cover or is tree structure?
Tree would be cover. Structures what the bottom does, covers what's on the bottom. So the trees would be
Okay.
structure. A
So,
brush pile is the trees would be cover. A brush pile is cover.
but a rock pile is structure.
A
A
rock
channel
pile
swing is
is
structure.
correct.
A,
Correct.
a shell bed on a flat is structure.
A shell bed on the flat is structure.
Okay. It's interesting that you say that. So I can't tell you. I mean, a Keith Combs, a Todd Faircloth, the guys, the East Texas guys, are masters at breaking down forests.
Oh yeah, dude.
If you've ever been to Toledo Bend, if you've ever been to Rayburn, if you've ever been to Lake Fork, 3 of the most famous
Amistad,
but those are really some of the most famous forests, the amber forest, the black forest, all of that.
Yeah.
And they all, have talked about how you're not fishing the trees. You're fishing what you just said. You're not in an area, because if you're just fishing the trees, you're quite literally fishing for a needle in a haystack.
Oh, you 100%.
But the key is I'm trying to think of this. Convenient cover is what you're fishing. You're fishing the cover not because it is there or the trees are there, but you're fishing it because you're there for a different reason, and they're on those trees because of the structure.
Correct.
Which is how you can take a 5,000 acre timber forest and narrow it down into something the size of a football field relatively quick for a talented angler.
Correct. I mean, that's what, like when we were on, where were we when we were canceled because of the tornado? Toledo
Bend.
Toledo Bend. The first day of the tournament, it was in February. The first day of the tournament, I was fishing the drains that go from the main lake up into the creek arms, and I was out in the middle of the main lake and structure fishing, and there was so many trees in the water, and the bass were relating to the bottom. Like I was fishing the bottom in 20 to 25 or 26 feet deep. The trees were completely irrelevant. The bass wanted the structure. They wanted to be on the bottom. And the trees became a major pain in the ass, because to make your cast, to get to those fish, there's a billion branches in the way. There's, it was hard. It was hard fishing. I had to drop shot them because I couldn't fish anything else effectively. That's a case in point where they really were not using the trees. When I went to Amistad, the trees are in 70 and 80 feet of water, and they come up to about 18 to 15 to 20 feet from the surface. They wanted all the trees on the outside points on the main river edge, and I was cranking them.
Mm-hmm.
I was throwing DD22s, fat-free 7s, and XDs, and I was cranking them. They didn't care they didn't want to be on the bottom.
But they wanted to be close to that outside edge in the channel, which is still structure.
And it was only the trees on the outside points, because when I went in, as I worked my way in these drains, the farther in I got, I stopped getting bit on the trees.
Mm-hmm.
And they were all still out there. And it was an eye opener for me, because I was like, wait a second. They're using what I would deem a structure fisherman. They're using these long ridge lines that come out to the main lake, but they're not using the bottom. You follow me? So it's like scoping. We saw this crappie fishing, and I've seen it bass fishing locally. The bass will use the depth below them as the gauge, just like the crappie did. Remember when we went out there, and when we got deeper than 25 feet, we quit seeing crappie. When we got shallower than 20 feet, we quit seeing crappie. They wanted 20 feet of water below them.
But they were 4 foot down.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me ask you this then. And this is not at all what we're planning on talking about today, but I'll give it. That's a good topic.
We went way down the rabbit hole.
So deer. I'm not a hunter. I've never hunted, but I'm around a lot of hunters, and they always talk about, how the deer move over a 24-hour period, whether they're bedding, whether they're out. So those fish that like you were catching on Amistad that you were cranking out of the trees, but they wanted to be adjacent. They wanted to be close to that channel. They want it to be out over the deep water. So if you were to, I don't know if there's a way to actually know that, just your thoughts on this. If you were to put a tracker on all those fish, the majority of those fish, do you think they're staying in the trees for 24 hours a day? Or, you're there during tournament hours, you're there during light, or are they going out and drifting, floating, using the channel, going from 30, 40, 50 feet deep up to 5 feet, moving, and then when you're back with the sun, with the high skies, with the daytime, then they're sucking into that timber during the day, and that's why they're there? Or are they there all the time? You see what I'm saying? Are they doing something similar to a deer where they have a routine where it's like, okay, at night we're going to go do this, we're going to move around on this, and it's all here because it's convenient, it's kind of like a one-stop shop for us? What are your thoughts on that?
I know that the bass that are structure related move on the structure just like deer do.
Okay.
The ones that are suspending in those trees over 70, 80 feet of water, I'm not 100% sure because A, I couldn't track them with live scope.
Yeah.
B, I didn't fish, that way long enough to know. Like I found them out there.
It's just interesting because on scope, there'll be sometimes where there's fish that are there for 2 months in areas, and then there'll be fish that you find on a Wednesday of practice, and you're like, it's going to be Katie bar the door. And you go back Thursday, nothing really has changed, and they've vamoosed. They're gone.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, what is going on here?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure about it. All I know is that treetop pattern for me has been effective in numerous different lakes across the country, and I never overlook it. Now, you have to take seasonal patterns into account as well. I mean, if the lake's spawn is going off, the chances of you running into fish out there, although it can happen because they don't all spawn at the same time, becomes less because the majority of the fish population is
right.
now.
So I wrote down docks, grass, brush piles, and ramps. And trees are very easy to take because you see them. It's a big damn tree. It sits there. It's crazy. It's awesome. But kind of putting together the last 250 day fours, in general terms speaking, you need to apply the same principle that you're applying to with why you're fishing the trees.
Yeah.
To why you're fishing the docks, why you're fishing that section of grass, why you're fishing those brush piles, why you're fishing that ramp. Where is it positioned? I'm thinking of ramps where like you never catch fish on, and then other ramps where there's like always fish on it, but it's typically related. If you think about it, the ramps are the most productive. Not only have tournaments there for release fish, but they have depth nearby. They're near a channel. They're on a point. They're in a portion of the lake that draws fish into it. But primarily docks, grass, and brush piles, you're using that same theory as to why you're fishing that stretch of docks with what's around it, what the structure is around the cover of the dock. Right. The same thing with the grass, why you're fishing that section of grass and not the other 500 acres of grass and grass lakes, just like you would with the trees. And brush piles is why there's fish in these brush piles now and not fish on those brush piles, because you're not just looking for trees. You're not just looking for docks, grass, or brush piles. You're looking for specific elements that the fish then, out of convenience
or necessity
right there, are pattern. Using that.
Yeah, 100%. Everything here, my fishing in a nutshell is this: every single thing I do is predicated on structure. Everything, no matter what time of the year it is, I am a structure fishing person.
Bottom elements, depth, composition,
contour lines,
contours.
Yes. Depending on what time of year it is where I'm going to be at on that structure. And it's the same thing with fishing deep standing trees. Depending on what time of year it is, like here, like if the time that I was cranking them out of the deep trees on the main river ledge, right? If we were there later in the year, I might have been able to do that farther up those drains. You follow
Yep.
me? Because those bass are going to start to
They
gravitate.
do that on Amistad religiously.
Yes.
They start out, and then as it gets to the spawn and stuff, that's where you've tracked them up the drains. In the old school days, you'd throw a Carolina rig down the gut, you'd trap down the gut, you'd
Yes.
crank down the gut, you'd throw a spoon down the gut, and then you would follow it back, to the
Yeah.
shores where they would kind of spread out.
Yeah. And the ironic thing, I won't say it's irony, but what I found, because I am a true diehard structure guy, what I have found is the way the bass move in is the exact way they move out. So if I find something that's, let's say, pre-spawn or right before pre-spawn, if I find a holding area structurally wise that has bass on it, I know, okay, that I can go there at post-spawn and catch them.
Yep.
So when the females come off the beds and all the bucks are guarding fry, I'm out because I want to catch the bigger quality, because the females are already out there, most of them. There's still some that aren't, because they don't all do shit at the same time, or if you have a catastrophic event,
Toast.
they wipe them out. So they don't all do this at the same time. So I know that I could avoid parts of the year that I don't like to fish and stay off the bank by using that. The way they come in is the way they go out. And that helps you become a better, believe it or not, it helps to understand, that helps you become a better fisherman. Here,
Yeah.
I'll give you a dumb example, and this is really dumb. Way back in the day. I mean, this is really dumb. Way back in the day, in my beginning stages of wanting to be a pro fisherman
So
guy.
what, like 80s?
Yeah, like yesterday. So like
No,
last
like,
week.
seriously though, like 80s, like late 80s.
Yeah, I would say probably late 80s or early 90s.
Okay.
So Troy and I are fishing this we were fishing Jerry Ryan's tournament
Yep.
trail, and he had a couple events that were team events and a bunch of events that were solo events. So we were fishing that, and we fished this other thing called the Yadkin Team Tournament Trail thing. And so we were on Kerr Reservoir, and we got on a pattern.
Is that Bugs Island?
Yeah, it was Bugs Island. So we got on a pattern of fishing lead-in points to creeks and pockets, and in practice, we legitimately could have caught 20 pounds at will. I mean, we were on it so tight. We had it so honed in that that like honestly, like I thought we were going to blow this thing out of the water. This was in practice. The tournament started. We couldn't buy a fish doing what we were doing. We couldn't even remotely touch a fish doing what we were doing. So we started from scratch again. And I didn't, well, neither one of us at the time were as knowledgeable as we are today because we don't have that experience under our belt. So what happened was the bass moved into the pockets to spawn. So we caught them legitimately at the prime height of that pre-spawn bite, and it was, we literally ran down the lake and said, there should be some here. Stop the boat. Pow, pow, pow. We run. There should be some here. Stop the boat. Pow, pow, pow. Tournament comes along. We run all this shit. We catch one. One. They moved into the pockets. So they moved into the pockets. So we go and start fishing pockets, and it's so random. We fish 15 pockets, and one of them has fish in them. And then all of a sudden the bell goes off. So the pockets that went off and the ones that had the fish were the ones that had defined secondary channels or drains leading into them. The flat pockets with no drains and no ditches had no fish in them because it was the beginning of the spawn. as the spawn goes on and time and the water gets warmer and you get the late spawners, they spread out more. And so you could catch them more random places. But in the beginning, structure fishing, structure fishing, structure fishing, they followed those drains and ditches right into the pocket. And those were the money pockets. And so now, granted, that was a bunch of years ago, but learned a valuable lesson, like invaluable, actually. And so that's why everything I do is predicated on structure fishing, because the fish use it like deer use the same things in the woods. The valleys and the hollows and the feeding flats and everything else, even their bedding areas, bass do use it the same way. Now, scoping will say, no, they don't. They're just random out there. But here's the thing about that, okay? Remember when we did the blueback herring show
Yeah.
and the baitfish show?
Yep.
You have three types of bass in every body of water. You have resident creek bass that live their entire lives up those creeks. You have resident main lake bass that for the most part live their entire lives on the main lake. They spawn there, they live there. Then you've got your pelagic chasers that do nothing but float and chase bait fish their entire life except during the spawn. Okay? So even though with live scope you're like, those are random fish out there, those are not random. Those are the pelagic chasers.
Mm-hmm.
They're always out there. That's why you see guys, even in spawning events, they're still catching some fish out there, because they all don't spawn at the same time. And you've got those three different types of bass. And that's where all this live scope stuff is now starting to make sense to me. You follow me?
Yep.
And so everything I do is predicated on structure and seasonal pattern, and understanding you have three types of bass in every body of water. And that's pretty much how it is for me anyway.
That was a great sidebar.
Yeah, that's a huge long sidebar.
No, it was good. I mean, I don't know. I thought maybe it just, when we went into that, I think that helps a lot of people. So here's what we really wanted to talk about today is last week you showed a picture of the 70,000 boxes that you carry in your boat at all times.
100%.
Now, here's the other thing. You are not a fair weather fisherman. So you're out all the way up until you're locked in with ice. Yeah. You're out when it's raining. You're out when it's hot. You're out when it's cold. And I've seen some of your tackle boxes. Some of your, it sounds like it's from the 1950s. All right, show me your tackle box.
Hey,
like, that is a great looking daredevil you got there.
Hey, I like how it keeps opening.
Yeah.
Why are we doing the accent?
How did that jelly worm get molded into one of those trays? Do you mind if I borrow the beetle spin?
Yeah.
He got a freaking spool of blue South Bend in the bottom and a D hooker, a rope stringer, red and white bobber. I've been going through. I mean,
you are going down, and don't forget that aluminum fish scaler.
Yeah, 100% with the little spike
on it. Teeth on it.
Yeah, a couple bottles of pork rinds that have never been opened.
Right, that are now gelatinous.
Yep, and then the wrapper on the outside, the paper has gotten the oils from the worms on it, and it is like kind of molded and is like slimy on the outside.
And growing some type of hair that is still not recognizable.
Yep, and then there's always a couple MEP spinners in there with the squirrel hair bucktail on the bottom.
Yeah, and two of the treble hooks rusted off.
Yeah, two of the treble hooks rusted off. And then there's always like one that's just got the lead that's like turned into powder.
The paint powdered off of it already.
With the hooks mixed in there.
You know, I got an old tackle box from my wife's father. It was his father-in-law's tackle box, and I opened it up, and that's exactly what it was. I was so pumped. I'm like, God, I'm gonna get lures, man. I'm gonna get lures that nobody has anymore. And I opened this thing up, and it was like someone took a thing of baby
Lead
powder
powder.
and just sprinkled it all over them. And none of the lures had paint on them anymore. I don't understand how that could even happen.
I'll tell you, of all of them that I've looked, the bait that surprises me that's in the majority of them is a thin fin. So many of those old tackle boxes that you look at pawn shops when you're trying to find warts and all that stuff, you open it up and the amount of bloated thin fins that are in these things. I don't know who did their marketing back in the 60s and 70s, but by God, they sold the thin fin.
You know what other one surprises me? Because it's actually a saltwater bait. The Miro lure.
Is that like a spook type bait?
No, it's like a minnow type bait. A Miro lure. Every old tackle box that I've ever went into had this. They had the thin fin, the Miro lure, and oh my God, I just drew a blank. I'm so mad at myself.
You gotta do it. Hold on a second. This thing. Whoa. That's the Miro lure.
Okay, but that's their topwater version, or their. Okay. It actually wasn't a topwater; it actually sank. Okay. They have a build version of it too. It looks just like a regular jerk bait type of bait.
Okay.
I can't believe I forgot the third lure. Because I got caught on a tangent.
A lot of lazy Ikes.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Oh, was it really? Is that really what you were going with?
Yeah, the lazy Ike.
Tons of lazy Ikes. Now, the majority of them that I've seen are the lazy Ikes that have the balance treble hook on the back that go like this, that are, I don't even know what you would call that.
I don't either. 100%. Every stinking old box I got, like my grandfather's old tackle boxes, dude, it was loaded with those. Like loaded with them. And so they used to troll them super slow on Lake Erie for walleye and blue pike back in the day. And they would literally hook a night crawler on the dang thing.
Yep.
And it would just go, and they would catch them.
Okay, this is the other one that's always in the old tackle boxes, is the head and tad poly.
Yes, that's another one, which is so guys were taking those and fishing them in the rivers for steelhead. And let me tell you something weird about that bait. They would literally stand there and let the line out, and then they would stop letting line out and hold it there.
And just let
it vibrate in the current for them. That's wild. That is wild.
It's mind-blowing that tackle boxes across the country all had that kind of same stuff.
Yeah, well,
and a hula popper with the skirt, the white split, the green skirt split, but still in the same little compartment that it was in, but dry rotted and split. So it's just like a little butt nub.
Yeah, dry
on the frog colored hula popper.
Dry rotted to the nth degree. Like it would, like if you picked it up, it would crumble.
Yeah. We'll just go down this route now.
Now I guess we're going down another rabbit hole.
Okay, so this one also, and I don't think I'll be able to find a picture of it. The twin arm spinner bait with bucktail tied on the jig head.
Yes. What the heck was that thing called?
I don't even know what to look up.
I could draw it.
Yeah, draw it real quick. That, for some reason, is a very common old tackle box.
Dude, that is
okay. Something like this.
That's it.
That's it right there.
That's it. I don't even have to draw it. But you know what's funny? The funny thing is, I was getting close.
Yep. There will always be those, and I don't know why, but those were very popular in the old school, like the double tray out tackle boxes.
Yeah, that and then spools of Dacron. The Dacron fishing line that I don't even know how they cast. I don't even know how they cast with this stuff. It was like non-castable. I think mostly they trolled.
Dude, that brings back some needle nose. The handles are always red on the needle nose that are just absolutely welded.
Yeah, they're done.
Yep. And
They're
then
done.
clearly there's always a section that has catfish stuff. So egg sinkers and treble hooks.
Yeah, and pre-snelled hooks.
Yes. Oh yeah, the pack of the eagle claw
Yeah,
pre-snell hooks that are
pre-snelled hooks.
in the bottom, the bronze hooks with
Yeah,
the leader that's about 6 inches.
and so here's what I found, like my grandfathers and some of the older guys in our family, they would put those pre-snelled hooks in cigar tubes. And back then, a lot of the cigar tubes were glass.
To keep them straight.
So they'd put them in, and then they put the cork on them, and they'd have these cigar tubes full of these pre-snelled hooks.
Oh my gosh. So when I think of like an old tackle box like that, like to me, this is like the style right there.
Dude, I have those made out of wood. That's how old some of these boxes I got are. They're made out of wood, and they have little like skeleton keys that you could lock them and unlock them with.
Really?
Yeah, they have leather handles on them. I should have.
Oh, you're talking real vintage. But
Dude,
this is the classic fold out right there. That's it.
Yeah, that's classic.
Yeah.
That's classic. But I should have brought those.
Dude, they should do a one-off tournament where you're allowed 3 rods and reels and whatever you can put in that. And you get in the boat with your 3 rods and your tackle box.
Yeah, today it would be 3 spinning rods, and that would be full of minnows and jig heads.
Okay, here's one. Let's see. Let's see if I can zoom in on this. Okay, this one's not a great representation. There's your spoons. Oh, there it is right there. See it?
Yep, there it is, dude.
What is that? Is that the lazy?
That's a lazy ike or a
the
flat.
lazy Ike right there.
No, that's not a flatfish. That I think that's the lazy ike.
Yeah, there's your little spinner bait. There's the same thing up there. Yeah, that's not a bad representation.
No, and the black herringbone, black with the white herringbone.
Everyone had black herringbone. That must have been the color of choice back in the day.
That's an old heading lure.
Yeah.
Does he have a spoon plug in there?
It looked like right there.
Yeah, that's an old spoon plug. And dude,
this is just random.
That upside down minnow just below the spoon plug. That's a heading as well, I think. Okay.
That's not a horrible.
Okay, see the banana above the yellow and red spoon?
Yeah.
That's a lazy ike.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, that's just random. I would be willing to try to. I would enjoy maybe looking at another one. There were a bunch of options. Let me.
That's wild, dude. I should have brought some of my antique tackle boxes upstairs.
Well, we were
going down a different. We were traveling a different structural element.
Hoeing a different row, so to speak.
Yeah, we were in a different part of the lake when we started.
Okay, this one might not be a bad representation. The guys who really took care of their stuff always corked their box.
Yeah, lined it with cork inside.
So there's your line.
Oh God, dude, they got a Cordell spot in there. That's newer.
There's your Cordell spot. There's your random egg sinker treble hook. Right there.
and then
your beetle spins.
This is not as vintage because look, they got Power Pro in there.
Not as vintage,
but it's close. It's close.
I feel like it would be a phenomenal show to have viewers submit their old school tackle boxes, and then you go through them.
Dude, next show I might bring up all my old tackle boxes, like from the 20.
You have these?
Yeah, I got wooden ones.
Oh, there's not one that doesn't have a Rapala in it either.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, this is a good one. Look at that. There it is. There's
Yeah. And the hula popper, dude.
There's the hula popper with the skirt.
Look at the skirt. You can see it's just destroyed.
Yep. There's your jitterbug.
Yep.
There's your heading tadpolly.
Oh, he's got a new lure in there too. He's got the Rapala popper in there.
Yep. More heading on the bottom. There's your spinnerbait right there. The 2-arm spinnerbait.
Oh my God, he's got the old case banana knife, dude.
Yep, right there. Oh, all the old school guys carried one of those knives.
Oh my gosh, I can't. And there's the flatfish with the 2 hooks on it, the 2 treble hooks.
Right there?
No, the yellow one upside down. To your left.
Oh yeah, there it is, right there.
Right there.
God, we nailed this. I swear I didn't look at these.
Dude, look, he's got a Rebel deep craw on.
And the Daredevil.
You got
the Rooster Tails.
That's the other one. The Daredevil was never.
This is awful podcast material, but fantastic YouTube material.
I know. We're so screwing it up right now.
No, that is let's do a show like that. Let's do a throwback show. And you can bring up some of your old stuff, and then we can have listeners and viewers take a picture of their, there's a lot of guys who have them sitting in the garage like that, of their tackle box as is, and then we'll just show it and go through them.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
What did I tell you we were going to talk? Oh, so this is kind of along the lines of that.
Tackle care.
Kind of along the lines of that, Frank. So tackle care. So you clean the boat out.
Okay.
You clean the boat out. You've got 75 of these things that are meticulously cleaned. What are you doing to make sure that when you start fishing again in the spring, your stuff isn't ruined?
Okay, so first and the easiest is terminal. Terminal tackles first and easiest because
this is show and tell. So if you are listening on MP3s on iTunes, Frank is holding up the most organized box of terminal tackle in bass fishing right now. Go to Bass Talk Live on YouTube and check it out.
So this is my terminal tackle. So this has hooks and weights, swivels, split rings, you name it. It's in here. It's terminal. It's organized. Now, I dare not open this thing and tip it sideways, but we're going to open it anyway and see what we got. So what I do with this is, and I got to be really stinking careful here. So what I do with this is I will go through it, and if I see any type of rust whatsoever on anything, it's out and gone.
Doesn't matter if it's a brand new pack, if there's a little bit of rust on it, if there's only one, you're chucking it.
Okay, and so a long time ago, we had some guy that made these crazy things.
I still use them, and I, for the life of me, cannot remember the name of them. If that is your company and you're still using them, we will run you as an ad on day 4 for a lifetime supply of those.
So let me
see. Are we in on that, Frank?
Yeah, we're in on it.
Okay.
So it says do not eat.
Yeah.
All right. So we don't eat it. Silica gel. So this is like a big giant version of something you'd find in the bottom of a pillbox.
Yep.
But anyway,
shake it for the listeners. There you go. That's silica gel, but it's got little holes in it. It wicks away the moisture, so you keep those all in there.
So I'm going to try this and see if we can.
Oh God! Oh, this is scary. It's closed, right?
Yeah. So
yep.
You could see them. You could see them in there. So I have these. I am a 100% firm believer. They suck the moisture out. The problem when you start to get into late fall and early winter is temperature fluctuation creates condensation in everything. And when your boat gets wet and you can't store it indoors, like me, I have to keep it outside. You can't store it indoors. You have a moisture content in your compartments, and it's brutal. It eats your spinnerbait skirts, the little ring that holds the spinnerbait skirts together. It deteriorates those. Same thing with jig skirts, and I use the highest quality I could find, and I have not found one of the tabs that hold the spinnerbait skirts on that last.
Yeah.
They never last. So that brings me to the easiest box I got. Second easiest box is my spoon box, which is right here. And these are all my jigging spoons and my horizontal spoons in here. So if you notice, I'm going to open this thing up.
Now that box for me always has a tendency to get a little wonky, and I don't know why.
It gets bad. So this is a War Eagle color I designed for them, but
what is that color?
It's a color I designed for them.
Is it out right now?
They're coming out or they're out.
Yeah, I don't think they're out yet. You can get in trouble for showing that, Frank.
Probably, but I don't give a damn. So I've done a bunch of different stuff for War Eagle. So anyway, so here's the trick to the spoon box. You see I'm reaching in here and I'm grabbing spoons. None of them have hooks on them.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
Except if I'm going to use one, then it's got a hook on it. So I'll have one or two with hooks on it, and the rest don't. And so this is going to be really precarious here.
Yeah, you can see it.
Yeah, that didn't work. But anyhow, that didn't work out. But you could see how they're all in here, nice and neat. And then I have the hooks over here.
Okay, so your hooks are separate on that.
They're separate. So if I get damaging, rust or something on the hooks, I could remove them. But for the most part, everything in here except for one or two.
So as you go through the year, so like when you take that out, you're going to put the spoon, obviously, while you're fishing, back in that box with the hook. So now that it's out of the boat, you're going to come in, take the hooks off, throw those hooks away that you've used if they don't feel like they're brand new, and just really get everything back dry and organized.
Correct. Because the worst thing you can have is rust. Rust is very damaging to everything. And so, like, this is one of the flutter spoons.
Mm-hmm.
And the hook's clean.
Yep.
On them. You got to make sure that
you're going through each box and just looking for rust. Like that's a day project. Hey, yes. I'm going to go hunt some rust.
Right. And so one of my favorite boxes is my Norman NXS box.
Ooh, that looks awesome.
And so this box here has most of my custom paint jobs on them. And again, I only have a handful with hooks on them. Remember last week, the color we talked about? Blue Truce Orange. This is Blue Truce with a red chin.
Yeah, that's foxy.
And so here's what I learned about the Norman NXS. I put a number 3 on the belly hook and a number 4 on the tail hook. And I'll tell you why. We're digressing, but I'll tell you why.
This whole show is digressed.
Right. This whole show is. So the reason being is I was out fishing and I was bouncing bottom with this bait, and the NXS will get you down to about 16 feet, 17 feet. And the bass were taking the bait from the top down, and I was losing some really good fish. And so I went to the number 3 because it's much wider of a hook where the bait gets thin, using a number 3. And so when the bass were taking it from the top down and the bait would roll, I would get them on the number 3. And then I was able to land them. But I didn't understand. I couldn't figure out why I was losing them, why they kept jumping and coming off. And then it dawned on me that I got to put the bigger belly hook on them. So in my NXS box, which I want you guys to start, now I'm gonna get in trouble. Matt, I'm going on a ledge here.
Okay.
I want everybody to. Oh man, alive! I'm gonna get killed.
By who?
Pradco. I want this color in the line. Envy. I want everybody to start saying they want Envy and all the baits.
That does look like a crappie and a shad and all sorts of stuff. A little troutish.
This color, I have been absolutely manhandling them on it. like manhandling them. It's been disgusting. And now these ones are my hand painted ones, but I'm tired of painting baits. I don't want to sit down and have to spend 2 weeks painting baits, so I got something to fish with.
I hear you.
But again, if you see in here, most of the baits I got don't have hooks on them. I've got one of every color with hooks on it.
Okay.
This is so when I'm out fishing, I don't have to spend time putting hooks on something. If I want to change a color really quick, I can do that. And what I found is that if you're not putting hooks on the baits, they don't get all tangled together, and you can fit way more in the box. And as you know, I'm way
And there's less metal components to rust.
correct. 100% correct. Now, another one of my favorite boxes is my Perfect 10 box. And you can see those these things are in them.
Mm-hmm.
This is my Perfect 10 box. This box is, I don't know how the bass guys didn't get on this Perfect 10 right off the rip, but this is another color that we're gonna write home about. It's called lace minnow.
Yeah, you talked about it before.
It's called lace minnow, and actually it was called dace minnow, but I guess my handwriting was horrible.
Oh, wait, so it was supposed to be dace minnow, and then they came out with it, and they're like, lace minnow.
Yeah, because of all the lattice work on the back.
Yeah, okay.
This is another color that has been, it's just wow. I mean, it's wow. But again, you know, I've got all the effects colors in here.
Mm-hmm.
You could see the effects colors and stuff in here. This is a very easy see, and so now you could start to see my problem with tackle.
Yeah.
Because this whole box is full of Perfect 10s.
Mm-hmm.
That other box I showed you was full of nothing but NXSs.
Now let me ask you this. So I've got crankbait boxes that have perfectly good crankbaits in them. I've started to do the take the hook off thing like you recommended, but I've got some that are very good crankbaits, but like there'll be a little bit of rust at the base of the where the thing twists in. You know what I mean? Like that little thing. Or I'll have paint jobs that have like some rust, kind of like
Magic eraser.
Okay.
A magic eraser will take that off.
Okay.
But you have to be very careful when you're doing it, because some of the older crankbaits, the magic eraser will also take off their thin layer of clear.
You're talking about
Yeah, the bald guy, Mr. Clean, magic eraser.
that.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
One of those little scrubbing things, and you'll lightly scrub that on anywhere where it is, and it'll take out the.
Yes. And let me tell you another trick with the magic eraser. Don't wet it. Wipe the inside of your windshield off with it. And it takes off all of that interior coating that gets on your cars over time. How the inside of the window always looks dirty. You know, if you run your hands down it, your fingerprints show up on it. That'll take it off, but don't wet it.
You know what I use it for? Every time I turn a boat in, you know, you've got the white plastic tubs that get scuffs or a little bit of color. And I take that, wet it a little bit, go through it. Looks like there's never been a lure in the box.
100%. That's a unique little gimmick right there.
Mr. Clean Magic Eraser. I've never thought about that for the lures, but that little bit of rust that's at the base and stuff, all that little bit of rust on the paint, like you can't overdo it, you can't screw it up, but that is the cheat code to get rid of.
Correct. That's correct. Now this is my suspending rattling rogues and my flash points, and these are all of the same depth. So I have the flash points on one side and the Rattling Rogues on the other side. The same thing. You see the hooks in the middle over here. Now my flash points all have hooks on them
Because they come with good hooks, don't
they
they?
come with really good hooks. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to leave them be. And I think they're nano coated, if I'm not mistaken.
Will you air out every single box after you take it out of the boat at least? Like, will you
Yeah,
just...
at first.
Okay.
When I first bring them in the house, I open them all.
Now, I actually purchased a hair dryer for that exact reason, to where when I come in to do it, I mean, I'll keep a lot of the baits in there. Now I'm not getting close to where it could explode them or get really hot, but put it on a low setting and just, and especially after a day, like you can just do it to the boxes that you open and use. And it's amazing. That will save you a lot of trouble in the long run.
Saves so much aggravation.
Just a cheap Dollar General hair dryer that I keep in the garage. I'll plug it in on an extension cord, open any box if I've been raining that I've had it in, and just keep it and just dry it out.
It's money, it's care, it's a lot of care, but you got to take care of it. So now my jig box, this is the end of the year. So in my jig box, usually I store the jigs without skirts on.
So that I have had difficulty with my jig box. I change the box, I change everything. My jig box, I go through a jig box a year, Frank.
Yeah, so I'm also using the sealed ones. You see the blue seal in them?
Yep.
And I don't store them with skirts on them. But the problem is I've been fishing like a wild man. So the ones that I'm using, I now have skirts on them. So there's a lot of jigs with skirts on them.
So will you go through and remove those, or what will you do with those?
No, I'm just going to dry them out. But I'm going to take a couple of the ones out. So I fish with different people, and my jigs are a little bit different. So I took them out of here. And so maybe you could see, I'm going to try this.
Oh, that's a good looking jig box.
So there's no skirts on them except for these. I took them out. My black ones, you can see most of them don't have skirts on them because I don't use them with skirts. That's how I store my jig box. Now, the one thing that I did that I don't normally do is ever put a jig with a soft plastic trailer on it back in. This is a 1/2 ounce War Eagle finesse jig. I use this for structure fishing a lot, and this is just an animal of a jig. Now I have it with a trailer on it because I didn't go through them yet and take it off.
But that will not stay like that all winter.
No, and here's a trick. I'm going to show you guys a trick as long as we're doing this crap.
I saw that. That was friggin' sexy.
So I put the O-ring on it like you would if you were going to do a wacky rig.
How do you get that over the bait? Oh,
you put it on the bait first.
Oh, okay.
So what I do is I measure the distance from here to here.
Keeps it from ripping and coming down.
Keeps it here.
Oh, wow. Yeah, your bait's going to rip in half before.
Okay, so here. So since I didn't do it yet, I might as well do it now. There, now it's off.
Okay, so I stopped. So I use a lot my preferred trailer on the LBJ or the 1/2 ounce of the War Eagle like that has salt in it. And what I have found out making it the hard way is I'll have a dozen 1/2 ounce War Eagles. I'll take my trailer off, jig will look just like new, and I'll toss it back in there. And the next thing you know, they all have freaking rust. Yeah. I believe that is because the trailer I use is heavily salted.
It is.
And there's still some salt on that jig from the trailer that I used. So when I use a jig, it never goes back in the jig box.
Yeah, and
that's just I know that I'm wasting a little bit of money on that, but when I tie on a finesse jig, a 1/2 ounce finesse or a football jig, that jig, as long as I have it, as long as I use it and it's tied on a sharp, I'm using it. But when I'm done with it, it does not go back into the new jig box. It goes into it's just like an open box with a crap ton of jigs in it.
Yeah, so here's what I do. Especially when I was competing. I would use a jig and then I would cut the hook off of it, leave it rigged, cut the hook off of it, and that would be my practice jig.
Love it.
And so what I was doing is I would, whenever I used one and then had to go to the next day and put a new one on, I cut the hook off of that one, I put it in a Ziploc bag, and that becomes a practice jig, and then I use a brand new jig.
Okay.
But now, because now I'm not competing anymore, what I'll do is usually I'll take the plastic off, swish it around in the water, and then lay the jig out to dry during the day,
Okay.
and then put it back. But here's the thing. This is my jig skirt box. So all my skirts are in this little box here. So when I go out to a lake, if they're hitting a certain color, then I can just go in here and go, oh, they're hitting black and blue, and then pull out the black and blue.
And those are pre-made jig skirts. They're not just the tabs.
I make all of them. They're all pre-made.
But I mean, they're in there. They're pre-made. It's not like you're having the tabs where you're putting it together and cutting it and all that.
No, they're all. I pre-make them all.
Okay, love it.
And so that's what I do. And then, so see, they're all pre-made.
Yep.
And so that's how I do my jig skirts. So if I'm on a jig bite, these are the only two boxes I'm going through, is right here.
Love it.
Yeah, and I keep it really simple that way. Spinner baits are tough. The spinnerbait, my spinnerbait box is in a waterproof box too, but
doesn't matter. Still rust. It's impossible.
It doesn't matter.
The first person who actually invents a way to keep spinnerbaits from rusting for more than a year.
My biggest thing is the little tab that holds the skirts together. They always dry rot. And I'm not going to hand tie them on because I change skirts depending on watercolor. So otherwise I would just hand tie my own skirts on. But the problem is my spinnerbait skirts are very flexible. So I have several different colors of skirts that I make. Depending on the water condition is the skirt that I use. None of my spinnerbaits have skirts on them in the box. The only thing I do now in the winter is I pull all the skirts off the ones that I use that have a skirt on them. I'll take those skirts off and chuck them because they're not going to be good in the spring. That little tab is going to be gone. And what I'm finding out is it's temperature changes, hot to cold, it deteriorates those things. And so that brings me to my last topic, and that's fishing line. I don't like severe temperature changes on fishing line either. So I store my fishing line in a soft cooler. And I keep the little soft cooler underneath my driver's side seat. And so all my line is in there and it's under my driver's seat. So it's got a little less, it's not underneath the compartment on my front deck where the front deck of your boat in the summer gets just plastered with direct sunlight and heat. It's underneath that seat. So you got the big seat cushion and it's usually below the water line. That compartment is usually below the water line and always much cooler than the rest of your boat. And so that's where I take my fishing line. And then when I store it in the house, it's also in a soft cooler, but I put it in my basement where the temperature is consistent. There's no fluctuation of temperature because I think back in the old days, sunlight would deteriorate fishing line. I think now it's more hot and cold. A lot of temperature changes, I think, age your line much quicker than.
Yeah, I looked it up. It said UV is definitely the number one factor in fluorocarbon degradation, but fluctuation of extreme heat and cold. I mean, maybe you're fine leaving it in the garage if you live in Orange County, California, where it's between 60 and 72 every single day,
Correct.
12 months out of the year. But, you know, Oklahoma will go 0 to 120.
Right.
Same thing in Cleveland. I mean, you're 100%. 90 to negative 20.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's one of the problems with fluorocarbon and monofilament as well, that you need to take into consideration, because that constant change in temperature weakens the line over time. There's two things that weaken fluorocarbon and monofilament. We just talked about the obvious, the heat and the direct sunlight. The other thing is how the line is extruded. If the line on the machine where they make the fishing line, if it's an even extrusion, it's going to be super strong and resilient. Unfortunately, some machines have a tendency to be uneven in the extrusion process. And so it develops weak spots after a point. Today's high quality lines, most of that's eliminated now with today's high quality lines. But back in the day, the extrusion process was the critical component.
I know last year when I went to Japan, I went to the Sunline factory. It was nuts. Like, we're talking like a sterile environment with all this stuff. I mean, you're watching the line getting made, and you're in these rooms that you can't film in and all this stuff. And you're like, holy cow, this feels like a medical surgery room in here.
Yeah, because they have to control everything to make the line the best they can make it. It's crazy. It's crazy. There's things we don't even, as anglers, we don't even know. I mean, what makes something better than another?
It's price, man. If it's more expensive, it's got to be better, right?
Yeah, sure it does. Sure it does. That's 100%. That's why my $9 perfect tens versus the $25.99 jerk baits out there. You know what I mean? It's so it's wild. But tackle care, because we spend a lot of money on this stuff. Fishing rods, same thing. I use slick mist on my fishing rods. I clean them off. I clean all the dirt and debris out of the guides. And I only use microcloths on them. I don't use anything abrasive on my fishing rods. Everything is microcloth. And that's pretty much how I do it. My reels, I usually do my reels 2 to 3 times a year. Never over oil them and never over grease them. You're just asking for problems then, because the tolerance in today's reels is so minute that you could over grease them and they will not cast good anymore. You have to wipe all that grease off of them, clean everything, and start from scratch to get them to really go again.
I'd like to end the show by looking at one more old tackle box online.
Okay.
Let's see what we're working with.
All right, what do we got?
All right.
We have a Daredevil.
Yeah. There's your MEP spinners.
Dude, he's got a jigging spoon. No, he's got a wobbling spoon in there. It's not a jigging spoon.
Yep. We forgot the lighter. Everyone always has a lighter. Okay, there's the rope stringer.
All right, we got the rope stringer.
The forceps.
Oh, you got the flatfish.
Where's the
to your right?
Oh, right there.
And there's another one, a smaller one. Go down to the lower right. Over, other way. Right there, above, right there.
Yep.
There it is. Dude, he's got a Miro lure. Right above here? The flatfish, yeah.
Okay.
Outstanding.
He's got the floats, the Daredevil. This guy's definitely Midwest because that appears to be trout corn.
Yeah, it looks like trout corn.
The bottle of trout corn. Some Rapalas.
Dude, has he got a treble hook with a weight on it in that tube?
Right here?
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks like a snagging one to me.
It does, dude. He's got a snagging hook.
A snagging hook in there.
This guy's all sportsman.
He's got all sorts of freaking. Oh, is that the line right there that you were talking about?
That's not Dacron, but that's definitely
That's
line.
that old school line that you'll never
South
be
Bend.
able to
It's
use the
probably
South
South
Bend.
Bend.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got the tube of oil, the can of oil, dude.
Oh, the biggest thing that we totally forgot.
What?
The merry-go-round weights that you rotate
Oh,
the
yeah,
top of the
yeah.
plastic and then you get your BB out of the weights.
Oh my God, how could we forget that?
There's your random. This is definitely Midwest because that's a walleye deal, isn't it? Or is that a trout deal?
Trout. That's a trout deal.
I think we could potentially
That's
parlay
outstanding.
this into.
That is so funny, man.
I have to make sure I always go back to 100% afterwards. Otherwise, I open up a website. The text is like this tall.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
Well,
I don't
Matt,
know how to label this. We talked about a lot of things in this show.
I would call it.
Because we started out with a really in-depth structure versus cover versus fish location and migration stuff.
I would go cover versus structure / tackle care.
Well, then we left out the old tackle boxes. You also had a call to action on returning a color to the market.
Oh gosh, I'm gonna get my brains kicked in for that one.
I think if we've made it this far, I think we're good.
Yeah, that's always when it falls apart, Matt.
I guess, yeah, there are a lot of guys that have been around for a while and they make one bad move.
Listen, when the thief steals a couple $100 here and there and gets away with it, and then he says, "Well, I got away with that. I could take 1,000 here and there," and then he takes the 1,000 here and there, and then he's busted.
Oh yeah, they all have the lazy Ikes in there.
Oh yeah, dude, it's crazy.
All right, this has been another edition of Day 4 with the man Frank Scalish. We'll be back with a live show on December 18th.
Perfect.
Until then, enjoyed the hell out of it, Frank.
Loved it. Hey, I am envious, and hopefully you guys are smashing the biggest bass ever.
My goal is 1 over 18.
18 pounds?
Yeah, it's my goal.
All right. I would have went to maybe 13 or 14 first.
What's the saying? If you shoot for the stars and miss it, at least you get mooned or something.
Yeah. Sure, we'll go with that. We'll go with that. That's not at all what it is, but we'll go with it.
All right, we'll talk to everyone next week. See ya.